So we're going to go through Jion, an intermediate brown and black belt kata. So I'm going to take you through step by step, and hopefully you'll get a grasp of the techniques within that kata. So straight in, okay, so from yoi position here, you generally see left foot coming in to here, and then to jiai no kamai, okay, so this position. So this is done slowly, so from here, nice and slow in preparation, okay, so this is your Jion yoi position. What you need to consider is the distance from here to your fist and your hand, okay, so from here, I generally work on 1, 2, 3 fists distance, and you're about there, okay, so when you're there, just try not to pull your elbows in, so there's tension. It should be relaxed. You should be in this position here, nice and relaxed, ready to go. Okay? So from here, we go into yoi, left foot comes in, left hand on top. And again, I'll just show you here. This is the position. Okay, so your hand is cupped over and your thumb just resting here. A bit similar to as you do in backside eye, stance backside eye. So from here, left foot in, into yoi, and the first move is to move your left foot back into migi zenkutsu dachi. So that's your right leg in front and your left foot goes back. Okay. So on that position here, you do Kossayooki. Okay, so your right arm is doing the inner block and the left arm is doing the downward block. Okay, so I'll show you from the side here. We go to here and make that nice strong technique. A point to think about when you're doing this kata and that opening move, it should be strong and you should remain firm. And what I mean by remaining firm is that you don't advance back, you drop down. So the worst way to do this is actually to fall back and actually have your stance incorrect. So that knee needs to remain over your instep as you normally do in zenkutsu. So from here, I'm just going to lower my body down slightly, prep the arms, and then do a nice strong block. And you can see that that stance is staying correct. So from here, you drive in the back heel into the ground, so you're making the whole of the body strong in that opening move. Okay? So, from here, left foot goes back, Kossayooki. Moving on from Kossayooki, so we started with the left foot from here. Okay, this is your Kossayooki. We go to a left, Kakiwaki Uki, okay, your wedge block. So the important thing is to remember the left arm is in front, okay, so you start into this position here, and then it comes around like this, okay, so you're there. What you need to do is to engage your hips at the same time as you're moving your block. So from here, we breathe in, we breathe out, and we breathe out slowly, but I'm holding this hip back just slightly while I bring my arms into play, and then I rotate my hip, and everything locks down all at the same time, so it's solid, okay? And you've got to try and keep your elbows closer to your body. So, for those that know Hien Yondan, which I suspect you do, from here, it's not this movement like you do in Yondan. Okay, Hien Yondan. So again, from here, look in and step in, and then making that firm tension. So you're building up tension throughout that technique to there. Okay. So again, I'll just open the moves again. So first one, Kossayooki. We look. And we're ready to go for the next move. So we're going from here. Okay, this is your wedge block. Make sure your fists are at the same height as your shoulder. Okay, so you don't want to be too high, you don't want to be too low. Just separating there. And then we kick Jonan Maigeri and we punch forward. Okay? So when you go to do the punch, you don't pull this fist back to go forward to punch. So from here, kick, and then this right fist goes straight forward and you punch, and you make sure your body is forward facing to that oizuki. Okay? So again, from here, we kick, punch, and then we do another 2 punches straight after, 1, 2. Okay? So again, here. Okay, so if you notice the time, then you go 1, 2, 3. Okay? So I'll show you the sequence up to there. So from here, then we move to the side, and the right arm is in front, and your left hip comes round as you finish the technique. And we repeat on the opposite side, Maigeri Jodan, Shudanzuki, Yakuzuki, and Jonzuki. Okay, so that's the opening sequences for that. Just work on your alignment. Okay, so your first one is backwards, then you go off the diagonal, and then you go off at this diagonal this way. Okay, so I'll just repeat those techniques again. So from here, Kossayooki, Kakiwaki-yuki, Maigeri, straight punch, followed by 2 punches, then we look, and again repeat, 1, 2, 3. So when we move from the next move from here, your left fist needs to pull right back, and you're going to come to this position in preparation for Agiyuki. Agiyuki, Gyakuzuki. Okay? So from here, prep, pull back in slightly so you regain control of your front stance there, and then 1, 2. Then we go forward again, Agiyuki, Gyakuzuki. Okay? So I'll show you again. So from here, we go and look, prep in position, 1, 2, 1, 2. Then the next 2 moves are 2 stepping techniques. So we go Agiyuki, followed by Oizuki. Okay, your first ki point. Okay. So I'll just run through that sequence again, up to that first ki. So from here, Kossayooki, Kakiwaki-yuki, Maigeri, 3 punches. Here again, repeats on the opposite side. Then Agiyuki, Gyakuzuki, Agiyuki, Gyakuzuki, then Agiyuki, single step, then Oizuki, single step, and that's your first ki. Oizuki. We're going to turn. Okay, this is counterclockwise or anti-clockwise, and we're going to come in and do Manjuki, followed by Kakuzuki in Kibudachi, and change to Manjuki Kokustachi, then Kakuzuki in Kibudachi. Okay, so I'll show you that from a different angle so you can see the kata. So from here, okay, so you're going to turn, you're going to bring your left foot in. You're going to prep the arms, go out to Kokutsudachi, and then Manjuki. Okay? And when you're here, think about this alignment through the body with this position here. This is not showing you guns, okay? This is up here, and get this pulling through like that. Okay? So from here, bring this arm out slightly. It's a very subtle movement, but it pulls in like this, in, and then we move to Kibudachi. But as we bring this arm out, we drop this arm, and then we shift and we punch Kagazuki. Nice hook punch. It comes out and around. Okay? And you should have your eye direction that way. So, again, I'll show you here. From here we come in, keep the body down low. Remember to keep the height of the kata. 1, 2. Okay? Which is really good if you can do that turn correctly and not go from here and sweep round. Because what you'll do, you'll end up shifting your balance and it'll be directional to that way instead of directional to the way you're facing. Okay? So it's really important that when you turn from here, you pull in, okay, and then put the foot out into Kukutsudachi, then shift slightly into Kibidachi. Okay, so now you'll see from here, I mean Kibidachi, center of body's there, we're going to have to shift from here to Kukutsudachi. So we're actually going to move that foot, pull it round. It's Manji-uki Kukutsudachi. Okay, so from here, we look and we block again, Manji-uki, and then we come from here, Kagazuki again. Okay, so I'll just recap on that again. So from here, okay, you've just done your first kiai, come in, 1, 2, 1, 2. Then we do a single Gedan-Barai. Okay, so one arm Gedan-Barai. Okay, so when we're doing that one arm Gedan-Barai, from here, draw this foot in slightly. Now you can push forward, and as you push forward and bring that arm down, get your hip to work. Yeah, so doing that rather than having to do this kind of technique, and you'll find that that is probably a more natural thing for you to do. But this is an intermediate kata, and we're going to omit that part of the technique. So from here, and we're there. Okay, so I'll show you that as the kata. So from here, we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4. Kick Jodan. 1, 2, 3. And you've got Agioki Gyakuzuki, Agioki Gyakuzuki, Agioki, then Oizuki Kiai. And then we go for the turn. Manji-uki, Kagazuki, Kibidachi. Manji-uki, Kagazuki, Kibidachi. Then we've got the single downward block. Okay? So that's the first part. Have a go at that bit, and we'll move on to the second set in a second. So, moving on from the Gedan-Barai, so we do the single arm Gedan-Barai, we have 3 stepping teishos, okay, so your palm heel. So from here, you'll step through into Kibidachi, strike teisho, okay? So you're coming through like this. But when I start to step, I prep this arm and I bring this right hand down, then I come through and around like this. Okay, so that's the part of the hand that needs to be doing the striking or the blocking, okay, depending on the application. So from here, okay, we step, you can see my feet going into line here. Now, when I move, I'm going to switch to Kibidachi, like this. So I'm engaging the hip in that technique at the very last second here. What you don't want to be doing is going through and doing that. You want to be using that force to get that teisho. Okay? So from here is 1, 2, 3. Okay? So you've got 3 teishos. Again, the timing should be 1, 2, 3. Okay, so I'll show you that sideways on for you. So I'll do it from this angle so you might be able to see that. So from left downward block here, step into position. 1, 2, 3. So we've done the downward block. We've gone 1, 2, 3. So on the third Teisho, Kibidachi, we're going to turn again to Yamazuki here, followed by Kossayooki Jona. Okay, so again, turn into Kosaiyaki here, then we move this arm across, go to Haisokudachi, and then block in across here. So just get that to reinforce the block a little bit, just get that little bit of a push and make sure your stance is facing forwards, and this is slightly over to the side, more of a diagonal position. Okay, so I'll show you from this position here. So the Teisho, we come in, again, foot goes out to Kosaiyaki, and we bring this arm across, and we throw that up to that position. Then we follow again, right side, bring the arm across to Kossayooki again. Okay, so again, Teisho here, 1, 2, 1, 2. And following move from here, your right arm is in the upright position, so you bring your right arm in front of your left, slowly down to the side here. Okay, so take your time with that, and especially with this kata, there are points in it where there are slow moves, so use that to get your breath back into balance. Okay, it's really important. Okay, you've done a lot of fast techniques. This one, okay, control. Think of it as another separate kata, or a new start to a new kata. Okay, so from Teisho, we turn, we go 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Okay, so we're back to this position, ready for the next movement. So moving on from here, we draw the knee up, bring the fist in, we go forward, and we do Gedan Jujiyuki in Kosaiyaki. Okay, then we pull the arms back into Zenkutsudachi, so your left foot is behind. Okay, so from here, we go, it's a 1, 2, so I'll show you from the side. Okay, so from here, come up, lunge forward, lock the stance in. Okay, then a slight pull back in your stance when you go into Zenkutsudachi. One of the common mistakes is that actually you think it's a bouncing technique, so you bounce from one to the other. It's not. You need to lock that first block in position. Okay, so from here, so just analysing that again. So that you're in Haisokudachi. Make sure you're not too rigid, but you're more relaxed here. And you can snap this up quick. So you go. Okay, so again, here, in, 1, lock it together, 2. So moving on from there, we step forward, double Uchiuki. Okay, so we're doing that from here. So what we've got is from here, we've gone 1, 2, then here, 3, locking that in. Nice, solid, fast technique. Okay, I'll show you from here. You go 1, 2, 3. Okay, make a good forward stance. Here. So from here, pull back, then we step forward here. So what I want you to do is to step forward and block. Okay, think of this as more of a cover technique of close quarter fighting of a cover and shielding. Okay, so if you step from here, you go from here, 1, 2. Right arm in front. Okay, once you go from here, Iraken, back fist. Okay, so you make this a nice strong technique like this. And think of an upper block with your left. Okay, I have seen this done with the Nagashi. Okay, but think of this as an upper block as well. Okay, so it's a nice solid technique. So from here, 1. Okay, now the left hand here goes out, punches. This right arm does a Nagashi. So think of covering this area here, followed by Urazuki Joda. Okay, so we've got right arm in front. We go 1, 2, 3. Okay, so when you do this, okay, think of the areas you're attacking. Okay, face. Now you're getting a punch around the side of the head, block and attack. Now think of pulling in with this hand as that fist goes up and under their chin. Okay, so you've got 1, 2, 3. Okay, so the technique should be 1, 2, 3. Jion. Here, we do the turn Manjiuki. Single down the block, okay, 1 arm, and followed by 3 teishos. Now we're into Manjiuki again. Kossayooki. Nice slow technique to get your breath back. So now into that last section we just did. From here. Okay, so moving on from here. Nice easy technique which you should all grasp, regardless of whether you're advanced or beginner. It's just to turn in Uchiyuki. Uchiyuki. Followed by Oizuki. Uchiyuki, Oizuki. Okay? Now again, the turning is important because you want to get power in the correct direction. So when I explain to you about turning and bringing this leg around as a sweeping circular technique, it's not. So from here, we come in and then you can push power that way. You drive in there, then punch. The same when you do the return, pull in. Then you can step and punch. Then you've got a single arm downward block to there. Okay? So again, we show you from here, we turn Uchiyuki, Oizuki, Uchiyuki, Oizuki, single downward block. Okay, so that 1 arm again, which repeats itself from earlier, which is that technique, making the hip work without augmenting it with the opposite arm. Okay, so fairly easy those bits. Now we'll move on to the Fumakami, okay, and the Kossayooki. So we're heading towards the end of the kata, but nevertheless we must keep it strong, okay? So think about how you're performing these techniques, but I'll give you a few tips along the way. So this is your single downward block. From here we raise the knee up and we bring this arm into play here because this is going to be your Kossayooki. So from here, raise that knee up, think of it more of a cover for your groin area, but not a Mikuzuki Geri, okay? So don't try and do that. A bit similar to Heian Sandan, you do that technique, okay? Just raise, cover, prep, and then stamp your Fumakami down. So when you're doing that movement, be very careful about stamping, okay? Because it will create long-term damage to your feet, okay? Especially if you're training in a sports or in an old sports or with the concrete floors, okay, or a floor that's not heavily sprung, okay? So from here, okay, we come down and then we do the blocking technique here, okay? So from the Kibadachi position here, okay, it's not in line with the leg, okay, it's slightly off to an angle here, so it comes down here, okay, to there. So when I do this technique, I tend to get my fist back here, okay, as if I'm drawing from here and coming away from here, okay. It gives me a good position to get momentum to get that strike done, okay. So from here, okay, we go 1, 2, 3. Okay. So again, I'll just do that from the side, so you can see from the side. And from here, we go 1, 2, 3. Okay, and try and get a good Kibadachi. Okay, so the same when you did Teisho, you went 1, 2, 3. The same is with those techniques. You do the first one, and then there's a longer pause between that, between the second and the third one. Okay, so from here. Okay, so we're going to move on to the last part of the technique, Yamazuki. And again, Yamazuki, and I'll explain a couple of different ways to do this. I'm going to go the traditional way, which I know, okay, is to go from here and pull the punch into Yamazuki, change over Yamazuki, okay? So, I'll just do the last 3 Fumakamis from this direction. So from here, we go 1, 2, 3. Now we do the turning. Foot comes in. Right hand over here, Tsukami. Okay, so you're grasping here. Then you push that left foot out, Yamazuki. Nice and slow, get some tension. Make sure your shoulders are not too tense and this is not out of balance. You should be here. Okay? Then we bring this hand over here. And your right fist goes to your hip. And then you slight shift. And it's a half speed, full strength technique with a slower ki than what you'd normally do. Okay? So again, I'll just show you that a bit closer. So from here, we Kibadachi. We go 1. And again, I'm regaining control. Now I step out. 2. Over slowly. 3. Okay? Okay, so from here, you move in, push out, change over nice and slow, and then we get that slow movement, your right foot in, so yoi, and left foot out to ready position. Okay, so from we get here, okay, I'll show you, we've gone to this position, over the top, and then we get a slight shift, and then right foot comes back in, you draw your head to the front, and then to yoi, left foot out. So another variation of these techniques is to actually go from here and strike out. So you often see that done that way, and then from here you'll see this come across, and then it's more of a bottom fist strike going out. Okay, just do it the way your sensei tells you to do it. Or train with anybody else, do it their way. Try it. Work out the difference in the applications as well. So from here, we go one, okay? Alternatively, from here, over, and we get that, followed by that, okay? And that's often preferred in competition rather than the grasping technique, okay? Yup. So that's the Kata Jion. Thanks for tuning in. Any questions, pop them in the comments below. Every instructor teaches slightly different, and I'm no different to anybody else. I'm still a student, and every time I do kata and I come on and teach these, I learn something new about the kata and about myself as well. So good luck with your training, and hopefully you'll tune in again. Okay? What's